Hey y'all! I did not make it at 6:36, but guess what? I am here, dang it. So, I wanted to talk about emotional intelligence and leadership. So, first of all, hello everyone. I'm Tiffany Hicks, and I am the CEO of VRE Training Solutions. And I've been talking about leadership. This is my second week discussing leadership. A lot of it is because I am actually speaking at a business breakthrough summit, and I am talking about leadership. I'm talking about leading through authenticity, and I'm also talking about building a culture of trust in your organization. So this is for business owners, but it's also for career-minded people, and it's really for anyone that leads anything. If you lead your family, if you lead in church, if you lead in your community, I have been talking about leadership. So today I wanted to talk about emotional intelligence because I did a poll with a client that I'm working on doing a leadership series for this client. And I was asking the team how much did they know about emotional intelligence. And it's interesting that so many people think that emotional intelligence is just empathy. And emotional intelligence is so much more than just empathy. That's just a small part of emotional intelligence, right? So I wanted to come on today and talk to you all a little bit about how emotional intelligence incorporated in your leadership style can really help you grow your business. Because that's the thing, y'all. Emotionally, the most successful leaders have a high level of emotional intelligence, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So I'm going to try, y'all, I'm working on my timing. I'm trying to get this done in 15 minutes or less, so that's what I'm working on. So y'all just bear with me. Also, normally, y'all know I have on my branded gear. I am in Texas and it is hot AF. I want you to know, like, even sitting here with the fan on and with this ring light on, I want y'all to know that I'm about to start sweating, which is why I don't have my glasses on, because my glasses are turned around and start fogging up. But anywho, if y'all know me, you know I will get sidetracked in a minute. So let me get back to the point. Point being, the most successful leaders exhibit emotional intelligence. All right, so item number one. The first thing that I want to share with you all about emotional intelligence really, and y'all ain't got my glasses on, I can't even see my notes. Bam! There go my notes. Okay. The first thing is self-awareness. So highly emotionally intelligent people have a high level of self-awareness. And when I say self-awareness, what do I mean? Well, self-awareness means you are aware of yourself. You know what you will do, what you won't do. You're aware of what triggers you. You know your strengths, your weaknesses. You actually make better decisions because you're aware of yourself. So think about it like this. Have you ever made a decision and at a certain point in the making of that decision, you decided I made a poor decision because you didn't weigh out all of the things, right? Well, emotionally intelligent people who are aware of themselves, they consider intrinsically, right, when they're making a decision, how will this affect me? And how will this affect others as a result of the decision that I make? And so on a previous live, y'all got to go check them out. Y'all, I've been doing the most amazing lives, but you got to go check the lives out. In a previous live, I was talking about having a really good understanding of upstreams, downstreams, and side streams, right? So when you are making a decision, if you are self-aware, the goal really is a win-win-win. Because when you know who you are, when you know what you're good at, you can go and find people that can enhance your areas of weakness. And the thing is, when you're aware of yourself and when you encounter a person that can enhance you as a leader and a team and help you get to the outcomes you desire, you don't participate in pettiness. You don't participate in competition because you know yourself well enough to know that this is my lane, this is what I'm good at. But I'm also self-aware enough to know that here's an area that I'm not good at, and I'm going to add someone to the team that I trust that will help us all get to a desired outcome, right? So being self-aware in a way where you can communicate clearly the mission, the vision, and you can build a team around you of people that you trust, and you're able to do that because you know you, right? I tell people that I finally got to a place where I know who I am in God. And not only do I know that, but I also know that no one else is a source of my joy, period. I have to be the source of my joy. So when I step into spaces, it matters how I show up for myself. You ever gone somewhere and somebody showed up for themselves and you were like, I'm not really sure where that came from, but you know they were going through something? That a lot of times people show up in spaces because they're not aware enough of themselves. They're not even aware of what it is that they're going through and how that could negatively impact others that are around them. So emotionally intelligent leaders have self-awareness. We could do a whole live about that, but I'm going to go on to the next point because I'm going to do 5 points today. All right. Point number 2. Point number 2 is self-regulation. So I talked about that before. Self-regulation is about being able to manage yourself. And I did like a little tongue-in-cheek kind of live where I talked about if you can't manage yourself, should you be responsible for managing others? If you are the kind of person that you like literally pop off, like you from 0 to 100 real quick, and sometimes for no reason and you don't know why, if you don't have self-discipline and if you're not able to manage yourself, then that means that you're lacking emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence people are self-regulating. They are self-aware first, but secondly, they are self-regulating, meaning that they exhibit self-discipline. And what does that mean when I talk about exhibiting self-discipline or managing yourself? The thing that is really important about that is that when you can manage yourself, you can make better decisions because you can think about what triggers you, what doesn't trigger you, what do you desire, what don't you desire. If you self-manage, you can figure out how to not put yourself in situations that don't benefit you, that don't produce the results that you desire. How many of you have ever had an event that you wanted to go to, or had an event to go to? Let's just start there, because you were invited. But you know you really don't want to go because you know it's really not your crowd, but you go anyway because you're people pleasing. That is lack of management of yourself. Because I learned I don't go anywhere I don't want to go. Because if I go somewhere and it's not a place I want to be, I don't enjoy the people, then I'm showing up as a disingenuous version of myself because I don't want to be there. So I tell people, like, I bring my joy with me wherever I go. Like, I light up a room, and that's not me bragging about myself. That is because that really is who I am. I come with this amazing energy. But I do that because I self-manage and I self-regulate. I make a decision. Where do I want to go? Why am I going there? How can I benefit from where I'm going? But most importantly, what do I bring to the table for those that I'm going to be around? So self-regulating leaders are the type of leaders that they're not going off on you really quickly just because all of a sudden they got mad about something. They're regulating themselves enough to know that I might be going through something internally, but that has nothing to do with my team. It's not my team's fault. So I'll give you an example. Let's say your sales are low for a month, but you know as a leader, you haven't really been present. Are you one of those leaders that will go into a room or go into a sales meeting and start going off on your team immediately because the numbers are not where they're supposed to be? Or do you regulate yourself enough and then own that in authenticity and accountability and say, my self-awareness says, I know I haven't been here for you this month to help you all with resources and support. I've noticed that our sales have slipped a little bit. What do we need to do to get back in the game? And I am open to hearing feedback from the team because I trust you. right? That is how emotionally intelligent leaders can practice self-awareness as well as self-regulation. All right, so that's number 2. I don't know if I'm gonna get to 5, y'all, but we working on it. All right, number 3 is self-management, right? So self-regulation and self-management can kind of feel like they blur together, right? So regulating yourself could really be an internal thing that happens, right? And when you talk about self-management as a leader, the question is, and this is one I like to use for business owners, right? Do you bankrupt your business every month? Why am I saying that? Self-managing means that you have to leave enough money in your business to be able to pay expenses, to be able to pay your team, to be able to invest, to be able to figure out how you're going to scale. And if you're not doing that, if you are bankrupting your business every single month, you're not managing yourself well, and you're also not managing your business well. So self-management is super important. I want you to think about this, right? So on a live after a live, we had Chris and I had a discussion about tardiness, right? And here's the thing. If your tardiness is costing you clients, and if it's costing you money, you may want to figure out how to manage that better. But if you have learned how to manage your time in a way that you build space in for yourself to be able to get somewhere and be timely. So for instance, I play psychological games with myself all the time, y'all. I have Alexa set notifications. I have notifications on my phone. I do all the things. But I always lie to myself and tell myself that the time that I have to be there is actually 15 to 30 minutes earlier than the meeting, so that I can make sure that I build in enough time, because I know that I tend to run behind. So I'm learning to manage myself and manage my time according to what's going on, according to who I'm meeting, according to the thought process is this. If somebody is writing me a $10 million check, I'm not showing up late to the meeting. And if I am showing up late to the meeting, it is not going to be one of those situations where I wait until the meeting and then I'm telling you I can't make it. It's not going to be one of those situations where I don't show up and I don't call. It's not going to be a situation where it has to be an emergency, right? Something's going on with my family, or maybe there is a business emergency. But the point that I'm making is that I'm going to manage myself well enough to make sure that I communicate throughout the process, right? So self-management. What is next? Social awareness. That is number 4. So social awareness as it relates to emotional intelligence is really having a clear understanding that you need to exhibit some interpersonal skills, some social skills. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of y'all know y'all suck in public. Y'all know y'all be talking to people crazy, and then you be saying things like, well, that's just how I am. Well, if that's just how you are, maybe you should consider that if people are not warming up to you and you're not getting clients the way you want to, it might really be your personality, because you're not exhibiting a skill set that is welcoming, right? People may spend money with you because you're the best at it, but I want you to think about how many people don't even want to deal with your personality. So they're like, you know what? I'd really rather go give my money to someone else or find someone else, because the experience that I'm going to have with that person is better. Social skills are important. When I talk about social skills, well, what do I mean? Communication, right? Do you actively listen to people, or are you always quick to talk? Do you listen to what people are telling you? Do you observe? Can you be proactive? Do you anticipate what people might need? And this is the place where empathy goes, right? Whenever you're in a situation and a person says something to you like, I had a friend that mentioned that her cat expired. And the very first thing I said was, are you okay? Right? I didn't know that. Are you okay? And here's why. Because she's a cat parent, and that matters. No one's going to tell you that something bad is happening in their life if they don't want a response from you. And I learned that from a job. Like, I worked in a call center, and I struggled so much in my 20s, y'all, with empathy, because I wouldn't know what to say if someone told me that their dog died. I'd be like, what do I say? I felt awkward. But here's the thing. What does God put on your heart to say? Say something kind. It doesn't hurt to exhibit some kindness. And empathy is just that. Understanding where a person is and having a kind word to say. And sometimes you may not even say anything. Sometimes empathy can just be silence,